You guys are seriously going to think that I'm obsessed with my cat, and I assure you that is not the case, but he keeps doing really weird things, and I just think they're hilarious, so I want to show you. Okay, here we go. Why did he choose that spot? I don't understand. Right in between the cable box and the TV. Doesn't make sense. Are you about to fall asleep? No. Oh, okay. And he's gone. I promise the next intro won't have a cat in it. You're welcome. Hey guys, Mr. Shaw back again. So we are going to continue on with our Cold War videos, and I forgot that actually I had one more video or one more slide that was really not. It would have fit much better with the last video. Anyway, it's not overly important. But anyway, so here are the countries that are involved in the Warsaw Pact. So you see, we've got the USSR. Obviously, that's going to include a lot of different countries, not just Russia. Albania, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, and then all these guys as well. And these are going to make up the Warsaw Pact, and this is going to be, again, like the Soviet Union's response to NATO, and this is going to be their version of their defensive alliance. All right, so I want to talk about containment a little bit. Containment is a very important thing. It's definitely something you need to know. And what containment is blocking the expansion of Soviet influence. Okay, and I want you to just in parentheses here, right after containment, I want you to say stop the spread of communism. Okay, so you're stopping the spread of communism by containing it. In 1947, the Central Intelligence Agency was created. In order to gather information and spy on foreign governments, and the main thing was when they were first created was to contain communism, to contain Soviet influence. Okay, so kind of just stop it from expanding. And again, you don't have to write down this quote. It just says the main element of any United States policy toward the Soviet Union must be that of a long-term, patient but firm and vigilant containment of Russian expansive tendencies. And again, that is going to be like the kind of the quote that is, I believe that was Harry Truman that said that, and that is going to kind of guide us for through the United States foreign policy for the remainder of the Cold War. All right, so let's first talk about the Truman Doctrine. In 1947, this was created. There was a civil war going on in Greece, and there were communist rebels in Greece that were gaining a lot of power. And Turkey, a nearby country, was also under pressure from the USSR for territory. Again, so this is the Soviet Union expanding their influence, trying to spread communism to other countries. And then this is, again, this is a different quote here. It says the U.S. should, this is Truman speaking again, the U.S. should support free peoples throughout the world who were resisting takeovers by armed minorities or outside pressures. We must assist free peoples to work out their destinies in their own destinies in their own way. So basically what the Truman Doctrine is going to do is it is going to help people who are it's going to try to prevent the prevent the spread of communism. Specifically, that is what the Truman Doctrine does. How they did it, again, the U.S. gave Greece and Turkey $400 million in order to stop their countries from falling to communist threats. Okay, that's the Truman Doctrine. Okay, first up, so it's specifically designed to help stop communism from spreading. Next up is the Marshall Plan. Okay, the Marshall Plan is a little bit different. This is in 1948. This was created by Marshall, shown here. He was a World War II veteran, a general who was very, very key in the war. And anyway, so this is to not only to prevent the spread of communism, but also to rebuild the economies of Europe. So this is what he said. He said the U.S. should provide aid to all European nations that need it. That includes the Soviet Union. Okay. And he says that this move is not against any country or doctrine, but against hunger, poverty, desperation, and chaos. So this is so while the Truman Doctrine was specifically designed to help stop communism, the Marshall Plan, at least on paper, is supposed to help Europe rebuild. Okay, yes, we are trying to help stop the spread of communism, but at the same time, we're trying to help rebuild Europe from the ravaging that happened in World War II. So during the Marshall Plan, there was $12.5 billion of United States aid to Western Europe. It was also extended to Eastern Europe and the USSR, but Stalin rejected it. Again, he did not want to. He didn't want to, be have to repay a debt to the United States. And basically, put a star by this last bullet. This helps the U.S. economy and is going to increase American ties with Western Europe. How does it do that? How does it help the U.S. economy? Well, when we are giving money to other countries, they are going to be improving their economies. They are going to be rebuilding their infrastructures, and then once they are back on their feet again, they are going to help. They're going to help the United States out again, and they're going to be, they'll be trading with them. Also, it could create jobs. You could have literally, you could send United States citizens over to help with the rebuilding, and that would give them jobs. You can pay them to do that. Again, anything like that is going to really help the United States out economy as well. And again, since we are giving them money, it's going to increase our ties with Western Europe. They are going to become more reliant on the United States. I'm going to fast forward here into the future. We're going to go to the Eisenhower Doctrine. This was done in 1957. This is President Eisenhower. Again, the thing about these videos, guys, is that I'm talking about kind of the stuff that's happening all over the world in the first half of this PowerPoint, and then the second half I kind of focus more on the United States. So this is just a different version of containment that fits in here, but again, I'm skipping a couple years, obviously. So while Eisenhower was president in 1957, he was worried about the growing Soviet influence in the Middle East. So there's a lot of oil there. There's a lot of natural resources. And there's a lot of, really, really important countries that the United States did not want to fall under the communist threat. So what the Eisenhower Doctrine said is that the right of the U.S., it declared the right of the United States to help any nation, parentheses, on request, in the Middle East trying to resist armed communist aggression. Okay, so this is, again, they had to ask for help. But if they asked for help, this is saying that the United States will come to their aid. Okay, so this is kind of along the same lines as the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan. Again, this is just specifically designed for the Middle East. Okay, so the atomic arms race. This is the first thing here. Put a star by this first bullet. The United States did not share the atomic bomb secrets with the Soviet Union because the United States didn't trust the USSR, or the Soviet Union. Okay, they are communists. They are kind of the antithesis, the anti-America in our eyes. So we didn't want to give them, the secrets to the most powerful weapon that had ever been created. However, the Soviet Union had spies, and there was actually two spies. Well, there was a lot, but they were called the Rosenbergs. There was a family, and they actually stole the atomic bomb secrets and gave them to the Soviet Union, and therefore the Soviet Union was able to explode its first atomic bomb in 1949. So after the Soviet Union has this technology as well, it is going to create a very, very dangerous world to live in, because again, we don't really know, like, are they going to attack us? Are we going to attack them? Like, what is going to happen? We have no idea. So anyway, Truman's National Security Council reported in document NSC 68 that the Soviets' military was superior and the Soviets desired world domination. Again, I'm not going to test you on, what document or whatever it is. What you need to know is that they determined that the Soviet had a stronger military than us, which again is not like that might have been fabricated, because the United States had a very strong military. But the last part here, the one that I didn't have you write down, was that the Soviets desired world domination. Again, that is going to be, that's very true. Again, they not necessarily world domination, but at least European domination. They wanted to make sure that they wanted to expand their territory, expand their influence. And then, so as of this moment, national defense is going to be the number one budget item. This is where we see the United States start spending significantly on their defense, on their military. Again, that continues even today. The United States, spends more than I think the top 27 other countries combined on their military. And again, that kind of starts now with the Cold War and then the atomic arms race heating up. All right, so when we talk about containment, there's a lot of other issues that pop up because of the atomic bomb. Okay, so all of this stuff is really important on this slide. First up, we have the idea of mutually assured destruction. Okay, if you are not, I'm going to kind of explain this in a second, and it might be a good idea for you to write something down. Like make a little note to yourself and just think, okay, what does this mean? Specifically, mutually assured destruction means that if I fire, like if the United States fired an atomic bomb at the Soviet Union would have time. They would be able to they would be able to see it. They have not see it, but like they have sensors in place. They would be able to alert, their whoever has their bombs, and then they would fire their bombs at us, and then everybody would be destroyed in this nuclear warfare. Okay, so that's what mutually assured destruction means. Again, that is just if one country fires their bombs, the other country's going to fire their bombs, and everybody's going to end up like dying or in very, very big trouble. Brinkmanship, this is a really important thing. This is the willingness to threaten nuclear war in order to get what we wanted. Circle or underline the word threaten, because that is what we did. So we would say, hey, if you don't do what we want, we're going to, we have atomic bombs, so we're going to make sure you do whatever we want. And that's what brinkmanship is. We probably didn't want to actually, fire the nuclear weapons, because we knew that if we did, they would be able to fire theirs. But we have them, and we are able to use them, and that's what brinkmanship is just that threatening the use of atomic bombs in order to get what we want. Domino theory is the last thing, and this is the idea that if one nation falls to communism, then its neighbors will too. So basically, if one nation falls to communism, like the others are more likely to fall to communism as well. And we'll see this domino theory start with China, okay, and then all of a sudden we have all of these other Asian countries that are nearby to China, and they are going to start falling as well. So we are, as the United States, we're going to try to prevent that from happening. All right, so this brings us to the fall of China, but first, a word from our sponsors. Okay, this part of the video is brought to you by Diet Coke. They say it kills you, but at least it tastes good doing it. Anyway, so China basically what you need to know is that there is a Chinese civil war going on between nationalists and communists. The nationalists were in charge already. They were very corrupt. It was not a very good government. It wasn't really serving the people very well. But at the same time, there were issues with that, but there were also going to be issues with the communists taking over. So put a star by the second bullet here. Again, the U.S. is going to they are going to support the nationalist efforts to defeat communism. My wife just sneezed. I don't know if you heard it. It was weird. Okay. Anyway, they're going to support the nationalist effort to defeat communism. So the communists get zero support from the United States. And that doesn't matter, though, because in 1949, the corrupt democratic government of China, meaning the nationalists, were overthrown by Mao Zedong, okay, who is a communist, again, shown here. And he's going to be he's very similar to Stalin in a number of ways, because he would have all of these grand pictures, these grand entrances, people thinking he's so great. He wanted to be worshipped. He was actually very sickly. He lived for another 20 some odd years, I think until 1973. But he was these pictures like you see of him right here. Again, he looks like he is a strong man. He actually had a pockmarked face. He was shorter, I believe, and it's just he was trying to present this awesome image of himself, a lot like Stalin did in Russia. Oh, and I forgot. Okay, so a month later, after Mao took over in 1949, the Chinese signed a defense and an economic pact with the Soviets. So this is the domino theory coming full force now. Again, we have China is nearby to the Soviet Union, and now they have fallen to communism, and now we're worried about all of these other countries around that area also falling to communism. I'm going to stop here, actually. I'm going to pick up with the Korean War when we come back. Thanks for watching. See you next time.